Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Red Shadow's Favorite Games. As always, I am the Red Shadow, and today we're finally talking about one of the big ones to me. Maybe not necessarily like favorite game of all time. It might not even be in the top 10, but it's strange how I still hold this one at an elevated level over so many other games. And in a way, I could have entitled this the entire GTA series, but I'm still going to focus on my favorite game, which is GTA 5. The most recent game in the series, of course. I have it here for the PS3, because the other half of this is Grand Theft Auto Online, and so I got the PS3 version so that I could play that part free. Unlike where on Xbox you have to have Xbox Live, which costs money. But as far as a game in the Grand Theft Auto series is concerned, this is definitely the best. This was definitely the most fun. It was also, for a guy like me, the easiest one to get through because despite all the GTA stuff you're about to see and all the games that there were for it, if you consider it altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, not counting the ones on the PS1 because I don't have those. I don't like those. 7 games. This is the only one that I've beat in the entire series. So before we get into some more stuff about 5 and the online aspect, let me show off my collection here. I have Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, which is made up, of course, by GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. 3, Vice City, San Andreas, which up until 5, this was my favorite. Mainly because I enjoy the setting that it was in, that sort of like early 90s South Central type thing. Something that would be reminiscent of movies like Friday or Boys in the Hood, or maybe a good combination of those two. And it was like the biggest world. It was the most varied world. I don't know. It was really awesome. But as I just said before, I've never beat it. But up until 5, San Andreas was my favorite. Now I also have here a copy of Liberty City Stories. This is still a brand new, unopened copy. And Vice City Stories. These were the spin-offs of Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City that were made for the PSP, and then they were put out on the PlayStation 2, like ported over. So I had to have those. And then we jumped into the next gen after that, which, because of the console I originally bought, the 360, I have Grand Theft Auto 4 for the 360. This is a Platinum Hits version. I gave this a little bit of a play when I first got it. Very interesting. Of course, it looked very well advanced over the previous titles, but it was still just as difficult to me as those other games. And eventually they put out what was called episodes from Liberty City, which was The Lost and Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony, kind of like an expansion from GTA 4, but it wasn't required that you have GTA 4 to have this, sort of like the Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories. So obviously, since I haven't completed 4, I've never, dipped my feet into that one. And then, of course, GTA 5. Now I'll show off my strategy guides here. There's my strategy guide for GTA 3. My strategy guide for Vice City. The big strategy guide for San Andreas. I love these nice, thick, almost phone book-like strategy guides. I have a strategy guide for Vice City Stories, so I'm guessing I either don't have a Liberty City Stories one, or it's loose somewhere here in the house in the many piles of strategy guides I had before I've had a chance to sort through them all. And then the same goes for GTA 4 and its expansions. I don't seem to have the strategy guides for that, but I did get the strategy guide for GTA 5, another big, monstrous book. But I love it. And it doesn't even really refer to the online at all, because it came out, online came out a month or two after the game itself did. I think it was a month. So anyway, let's get back into GTA 5 and split it into GTA 5 and GTA Online. With GTA 5, like I said before, I found it to be the most engaging storyline so far in a GTA game. The characters were the most interesting, not necessarily likable. A lot of the characters in this game you want to blow their faces off with the shotgun. But your three main characters of Franklin, Trevor, and Michael are all really well thought out characters with their very interesting stories and interactions with other characters in the game. Now overall, I think my favorite character of the game is Franklin, which would probably surprise a lot of people unless you were paying attention to what I said about San Andreas. Franklin feels like he could have been pulled right out of San Andreas. I just felt like he was probably the most real of the three characters. Because the other two characters are the highly cliched Michael. You know, he's like a Miami Vice reject kind of thing, trying to relive that lifestyle. Well, at first he's not wanting to relive it, but he gets pulled back into it. But he needs to go to marriage counseling and has the weirdest relationship with his wife and his kids. Like I said, I just feel like I've seen that role in movies and TV shows a million times. Trevor is probably by default most people's favorite character from GTA 5 because he's crazy. He's like this methed out, whacked out nut job, and I admit the stuff that comes out of his mouth can be pretty hilarious at times. But like I said, I really just feel like Franklin was the most well-balanced all-around character. He reminded me of San Andreas. He reminded me of CJ from San Andreas. And in my opinion, he's the main character from GTA 5. He's essentially the first character that you're involved with in the game. And at the end of the game, not to give away too many spoilers, but there's a couple of different endings, and they're mostly from his perspective. So I don't know what else to say other than Franklin was the star of this game, and I really enjoyed him the most of all the three characters. But yeah, it was... Okay, let's talk about the world in this one, because this is one of the things I think I probably like about it the most. With the previous games, especially like 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, the world is very, very large, but you're only limited to a certain portion of the map to start off with. And then you have to complete things in order to go to the next area of the map. In GTA 5, the entire map is open to you from the beginning. It's just a gigantic sandbox world to go have fun in. Now, this is a complaint that I've had with games like Fallout and Skyrim and whatnot, is that it can be a little overwhelming. So much stuff to do, where do you begin? This suffered from that a little bit, but I still was able to kind of hone it into a nice, somewhat linear experience and see most of what the game had to offer. I think when I finished the game, I was somewhere between 75 and 78% complete. So yeah, that's a lot of game left open, but it was still a very healthy, I'd say 15 to 20 hours, maybe more, if I don't count the times when I just started farting around, jumping over buildings and flying out of helicopters and whatnot, and just some of the random stuff that you can do even within the game itself. Then you turn around and you enter into GTA Online. Now I'm just going to dispense with one of the big complaints about it. It's glitchy. Yes, it's glitchy. There was a lot of glitchiness. I only logged into it once or twice that first month, and I heard about how bad it was and how people's characters were getting deleted or reset. And so I just kind of powdered out for a while. In fact, I believe I went and played Beyond Two Souls after I got done with the storyline of this one and dabbled slightly with the online. I said, well, I've got this other game to play. I'll just go do that. And I gave them till I think it was the beginning of November. And then I decided to jump back in, especially when I found out that they were going to give everybody like 500,000 in-game dollars or $1 million in-game dollars for those people who'd logged in the first month and had, and not had dealt with the issues. Just simply if you logged into it, you were going to get the money. So I was like, well, I'll collect on that money. That sounds great. But then I jumped in and played a little bit of the online, and I was intimidated by it because of my anxiety issues. I was very intimidated by the experience, so I kind of avoided doing a lot with it until I found out that a friend of mine at work was going to get the game too. And I thought, oh, well, this will be cool. I'll have somebody that I know who I can play with. So he got the game, and we started playing with each other. That sounded weird. And then another friend got in on the act and said, oh, this sounds really, really cool. I want to play too. So they would play, but they had an advantage. They had actual headsets to play games online and communicate. And I was a little down in the dumps because I didn't have one. And I was like, how much money am I going to set aside to spend on a headset? Do I want to get a $80 to $100 wireless one, or get a $20 to $40 cheapo wired one? Well, that was solved by the second friend who came in on the game, who gave me a headset. An Xbox 360 headset, but a headset nonetheless. I ended up spending $7 or $8 on some sort of little adapter that had to be sent from China or something like that. But thankfully it got to me in like a little less than 2 weeks. So I would play with them and not be able to talk. I could just listen. But it was a good time. And then once I was able to communicate with them, the roof was just blown off the place. We had so much fun. Literally, November, December, and most of January, we had so much fun in that game, you wouldn't believe it. Like almost every night we would be in there playing. And we'd go do some jobs and, missions, rob some convenience stores, just all the kind of regular type things that you could do. And then eventually we would start messing with other people, sometimes on our own initiative, sometimes because they came and messed with us. But we would end up having some like epic deathmatch type battles with other people in the servers, because you can play with up to a total of 16 players. So with the 3 of us, we could play with up to 13 other players with their characters in a server or whatever you want to call it. And then probably the most fun part of it all is we would start to random deathmatch each other, which was always a whole lot of fun, because you could make you could allude to it in the chat part. You could be like, hey, so-and-so, where are you at? What are you doing? Oh, hang out there for a second. I'm going to come get you. And then you go up with your shotgun and blow their faces off. Or you snipe them from afar. It was so much fun. Basically, for the 3 of us, Rockstar, in the stats for the GTA Online game, they'll keep track of who you've killed the most and who's killed you the most. And they'll call that person your arch enemy. So many times for me, it would be one of them. So many times for them, it would be me or one of the other people. And it would even alert you when your arch enemy had entered into your session. So it was pretty hilarious. We would probably still be playing it on a regular basis now if it wasn't for one thing. Around Christmas time, there was a rampant amount of cheating. Now, glitchiness is one thing. People cheating is another thing. But it kind of, in my opinion, depends on what kind of cheating they're doing. What was happening was people were finding exploits and ways to make more money than they were supposed to by repeating certain missions over and over again, or I don't know, maybe there was some actual cheating involved. But then they would start to give that money out to people in these public sessions. So one night I'm gifted like $2 billion. I was like, yeah, I'll take that money. Why not? Why wouldn't I? I'm not a guy who wants to grind through all them jobs just to make $2,000 when a customization on my car might cost $8,000 and I got to go do some job over and over again. You know what? I got time for that. So when I got $2 billion and then people were putting bounties out on people for millions and millions of dollars, and you could just shoot somebody and kill them and collect it automatically, all 3 of us ended up with millions or billions of dollars in our bank accounts, and none of us had any problems with it. But Rockstar ended up having a problem with it. They banned people who were doing that and took away the money from the innocent people who were just gifted the money. And I know there's a lot of people out there who didn't want that money given to them for no reason. They wanted to work for it. And that's fine. I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. I just wish Rockstar would have done something that would have made it fair for all of us. Maybe have actual sessions that are made for people who have lots of money, or have specific sessions where there's no cost for things like upgrading your car, buying an apartment, filling up your ammo. I don't know, that's just me. It probably would be hard to make it fair and right for everybody, so they had to go with no cheating, no exploiting, and take all your money away. I'd say it was like the first week of February was the last week that we played on a regular basis. And to be honest, I think each of them have only jumped into the game once or twice whenever they added some new things in that you had to get on a timed, by a certain amount of time, which sucks because I actually paid real life money, and I've spent too much real life money in the online part way back when, before all that extra money came out. But I spent some more money around Valentine's Day in hopes that I would get enough money to get this really cool car that they had that was only going to be a limited time availability, and then it was going to be gone. And I didn't get it. I screwed up. I didn't get back in and try to do a few more jobs to get over that number. So very frustrating. And then I haven't logged in recently because the last time they added stuff to the game, it went in as something that would always be available. But I want to get back into it, and I'm hoping that my friends will come back. There's another friend of ours, a newer person in our department, who seems to be interested in playing. So maybe I'll get a new group of people who will want to play, and because like I said, I could still be playing GTA Online on a regular basis. It's crazy. It's just that much fun, in my opinion. So anyway, I guess that about explains my my love for the GTA 5, the Grand Theft Auto series. It's an amazing series of games. I'm disappointed because if there's ever a 6 or any kind of like spin-offs of 5, sort of the way you had Vice City and San Andreas after 3, they'll probably be on the newer consoles. They'll probably be friggin' amazing, and I'm not going to get to play them, but I'm not crying over it. It's all good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like GTA 5 or any of the Grand Theft Auto series, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.